Hi everyone, it's Angela D'Souza here from Women's Business Voice, and I have an amazing guest for you today. A little bit about her. Let me give you a proper official introduction. We have Christine Marsh with us. In this electrifying episode of Women's Business Voice, we meet Christine Marsh, a top 10 voice, an unstoppable changemaker who proves that age is no limit to reinvention. At, wait for this, 84, Christine has just signed a 5-year modeling contract, all while continuing to empower leaders and transform organizations across 4 continents. From her adventurous military childhood in India and Singapore to launching her consultancy, Prime Objectives, at 50, Christine's life has been anything but ordinary. A corporate trailblazer turned crisis transformation expert, author, artist, and now model, Christine lives by the powerful belief that life is circular, not linear. Her yes philosophy, captured in her book Flashpoint Transformation, has guided leaders through turbulent times and sparked personal breakthroughs around the world. Join us for an unforgettable conversation filled with wisdom, wit, and a whole lot of inspiration. Christine's story is living proof that the best is always yet to come. So Christine, whoa, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, it's just lovely, and all my good wishes to your listeners, because they've got a blank sheet of paper in front of them, and I hope I will inspire them to perhaps think about writing their future a little bit differently.
Oh, I can't wait to get stuck into it. And I know you will inspire them. So let's start at the beginning of your story. Let's talk about any part of your childhood, you know, the part that really shaped you and the part where you did, if you found any of your future dreams there. And if not, what did you dream of when you were younger?
I think being born in 1940 in India, my father was in the Royal Signals. And he was away in El Alamein and all over the place doing secret stuff. We were the families that were left behind, the women and the children. The plains in India were very hot. I was born in Jabalpur, which is sort of central India. We were all shipped off up into the mountains, Murray, with exotic views of the Himalayas and pine woods. And nobody got at me, Angela, because my poor sister was 8 years older. I'm saying poor in a way because she had to go down the orthodox route of boarding school, which I think was pretty standard for a lot of army families and their children. I escaped, and I had no formal education.
How
for
did
7
you escape?
years. Well, nobody got at me. Nobody programmed my mind what I should think or tick boxes.
Yeah.
And, you know, this formal education of preset questions are probably obsolete anyway. So this sort of inquisitive nature was encouraged to sort of say, how does that work? What happens here? Working with the seasons. And probably the highlight was there was a snow leopard locally. And you woke in the morning and my mother called us and there were the pud marks on the snow on the roof of the snow leopard.
Did you ever get to see it?
No, but I got a picture of it. I just think they're magnificent beasts. But, you know, you had no fear of nature, put it that way, just inquisitive nature.
So what age did you have to start formal education?
The shock to the system came when the war ended and the British Empire crumbled, and 1947 was, you know, literally move out of India and hand over to Nero. And when we came back, the shock was I couldn't read.
Yeah.
You know, it hadn't.
Was that back to the UK?
Yeah. You know, this disruptive child, because I was bored out of my brains, basically. But it was a teacher who sat me down. She wasn't telling me off. She just said, look, you're bright, but you're bored. And she gave me one sentence, and she taught me the fascination of English language and words.
Wow, that's a good teacher.
Oh, brilliant. And she took the brown dog jumps over the fox or something. It's got all the letters of the alphabet. I think they use it in print.
Oh, yes.
So when they've got a typewriter, they make certain that if you hit the key, each letter
I've
is
seen
perfect.
that, but I didn't know it had all the letters of the alphabet in. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so that's that. And basically, she got me interested by equating what I saw as black squiggles into a meaning. And I think children who are dyslexic or verging on that, you see patterns rather than understanding words at that stage. So she got me excited because in this black squiggle was a dog and there was a fox, and what were they doing and what colour were they? And that's teaching at a level that is fascinating to think.
That's true teaching.
It is, isn't it, Angela? Locked in me was this inquisitive child, and she hit the button. What do those black squiggles mean?
It's amazing the impact that a teacher can have. Because imagine if you had a different teacher and they just saw you as naughty and they treated you as naughty and they treated you in a different way. You may have even become that person, you know, that constant affirming that you are X, Y, Z. But this teacher brought out the best in you. Yeah,
no, I'm very grateful to her.
That's amazing.
I can talk, that's never been my problem. But to write was my big fear. And unfortunately, having met my husband at 17 and him being a printer and us living together, we got 2 children, he went and popped off on me.
Oh, no.
Very sudden death, very tragic. An aneurysm.
How old were you then?
80, what was I, about 80? I think he would have been 80 in the February and he died in the December. But... you know, your partner's gone and half of you's gone. Yeah. And you're faced with what I call a blank sheet of paper. And don't be frightened of it. That's what my advice is. Don't be frightened of it. You can reinvent yourself. It's scary.
It is, yes.
It's very scary. But if you don't jump, you'll wait till you're pushed. But change will happen. It's going to come your way whether you want it or not. So embrace it. That's what my advice would be. And think, what can I do? What haven't I done? What intrigues me? Yeah. And sort of
it can be an amazing opportunity, but few people would take it because it's also equally scary. And
Very
it's
scary.
Easier to stay with what you're comfortable, what you already know. So, yeah.
But then you get made redundant. So whether you like it or not, change has happened to you. So I think the stability of you had a job and you retired, that's long gone. That sort of follow through.
No,
so this necessity to be adaptable. My father had wanted a son, and when I was born in India, he came to the hospital because you had to register very quickly for British citizenship, and it was made out for William Richard.
Oh dear.
He'd ordered a son.
He ordered one. Oh.
And I must have been a rebel at conception. I think nobody's telling me what I'm going to do.
So your name is William Richard then?
Yes, and he called me Bill.
Did he really?
He's quoted as saying, I don't care what anyone else calls it, I'm going to call it Bill. My mother, my sister, my nieces, nephews, my friends, probably up to the age of 36.
You're joking, really? What changed at 36 then?
I looked in the mirror one day and I'd had a successful career and things were happening, and I thought, I don't know who this woman is. And I think a lot of us play roles.
Yeah, that's so true.
We play the wife, we play the mother, we play all sorts of roles. But how often do we actually stop and think, who the heck am I? What makes me tick? What is my motivator? Because it's seen as selfish. Yeah. You know, this sort of self-indulgent bit, you know, as far as I was concerned.
I think it's the most important part. My youngest daughter's 16 at the moment, and she's going through that, you know, what does she want to do? Or, you know, what does she want to do with her future? And I'm like, first figure out who you are.
Yes.
Everything will flow from that. Yeah. So I think it's such an important bit. But you're right, we do. We play roles and we try to be the best person for that role, but without any real key identity underpinning those roles. So did you find yourself?
Well, I'm here.
But did you find the real Christine?
The real Christine is having so much fun, to be honest. And I think the opportunity of this blank sheet of paper, I could have been crushed when Colin died so suddenly.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And you thought, wow, half of me's gone. And those of you who've experienced grief know that that's something that hits you sometimes when you didn't expect it to. You think you're okay and bang, something will trigger it off. So I decided to sell our family home and searched around, and I wanted a community that had an arts centre, living people around that were interesting, and decided on Stowe. And it was the right decision. So I've been there 3 years now.
So did we meet before your husband passed?
Yes, yeah,
Really?
many moons ago.
Oh my goodness. So I will never forget the first time we met. We were at a women's business club lunch, and we all took our turns to stand up and introduce ourselves to the room. And there you were. I think you were 80 years old at the time, and you were telling us these stories of your travels and launching a book. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And up until that point, I feared aging. I feared like what came in later in life. I thought it's scary, it looks boring, it looks horrible. And there you were. You were like, you gave me a clear vision of what aging can look like, what later years can look like. And I can't ever thank you enough for that. I know you do that for so many others though.
Well, Judi Dench to me is it Dent or Gent? I can remember. How do
Dench, I think.
Dench. Joanna Lumley, who was also an Indian child.
Helen Mirren is amazing.
You know, and I thought, gosh, they're embracing life to the full.
Yeah.
And Judi doesn't care if she's got wrinkles. I mean, her ability to portray whoever she is involved in, I just think, they're my heroes, really. They've always been. Well, if people can flourish in later life, and I called it later life choices, basically. Now, I decided when I moved to face my biggest fear, which was the written word, and write a book. Now, I'm not telling a lie, Angela, when I say I was absolutely frightened about this.
Really?
Oh, dreadful.
Wow.
Dreadful. Who would be interested? I don't know. It was just a block. I can talk, but probably from that early childhood of not reading and all the rest of it, it's sort of, you know,
it was always there.
And once it's written, you've got no control on how people interpret it.
Yes.
I can see your face, and if you're looking puzzled, I can pick it up. If we're laughing, I think, yeah, we're having a good time here. But in the written word, I don't know
how people are responding.
You put it out there, and it was really a big, scary thing.
Yes.
So I think it was the 22nd of December, 2023. I thought, right, pick it up and do it. Just get on and do it. Now, I have a formula for success if your listeners would like to make a note.
Yes, do tell us your formula for success. And do tell us the name of your book so we can search for it.
Okay, I'll give you the formula. It's M times X equals P. Now, your motivation level is not constant. People who say, oh, you should always be jumping out, like hell you are. I'm sorry. I've had the dippy bits and the dark places. But out of those dark places comes creativity.
Yes.
You either get squashed or you pick yourself up and get on with it and move on again. So the M times X, now skills is something you acquire.
Yes.
And don't judge people unless they've had the opportunity to learn.
Oh, I love that.
And that's my mantra.
Yeah.
Whenever I look at somebody who's seen as troublesome or whatever, I thought perhaps you've never had personality traits explained to you.
Yeah.
Maybe you've never been corrected when you're actually being pretty rude.
People don't know what they don't know.
I'm direct, you know, if you suck it up kind of mentality.
Yeah, no, you're just plain rude.
Yeah, thank you. You're much kinder than I am. But, you know, there's sort of, and what got me is people say you fill in a profile and they've captured you. But if you change the environment, and this used to fascinate me, you would see somebody who was actually quite a bully at work in a managerial position. And then you'd meet him at a social occasion with his partner or wife, and you'd think, oh, you little mouse. No wonder you roar when you're at work. Yeah. You can only squeak when you're home.
Yeah.
So this flexibility of human behaviour, I hate being typecast. And I think people have got a whole range of emotions and capabilities. So the M is your motivation will fluctuate out of 10. Your skills out of 10 should grow. So if my motivation, because I'm coming here today, is 8, I don't quite know what you're going to do with me, so I'm a bit, okay. My skills are 2. 8 times 2 equals 16. So you're not going to get the best out of me.
Okay.
Right, so we did this with one company and a sales team, and we came out with a group score. We went from, I think it was 48 as a corporate, you know, in that particular sales environment. And we put it up to 64. Angela, the sales increased exactly like that.
Really?
They went from 24% up. So, you know, what motivation we bring to anything will impact on the outcome.
Yeah, that's
Don't
so
blame
true.
anybody else. At the end of the day, you're going to get some pretty grotty bits, you know. But if we had smooth, we wouldn't be human.
No.
I think you grow in the darker places.
Yeah, and sometimes you need those rough, those moments to kind of chip off the rough edges, don't you? You need things to happen to mold you and shape you and make you who you are.
And what am I going to do about it? Am I going to give in? So I faced my fear with the book. And I've called it here Flashpoint Transformation. Now, you see, I love the play between chemical and human. A flashpoint is when you have two chemicals, when they come together, will ignite. Now, some chemicals have a very low flashpoint. So you've got to be very careful when you're handling them.
Because they'll go boom.
Yeah, and you collate that to a person. We can have
true.
a joke and you won't take it personally. Somebody else would dissolve.
That's so
it.
true. Yeah, it is, yeah.
You suddenly got somebody with their
Flashpoint.
arm. What did I say? I just told you you were pillock. No, I mean, I'm sure I put it better than that. But basically, I was calling them out. And they can't take, some people can't take that honesty. So that was a big learning curve for me. So this flashpoint, when you come to humans, the pushing where you are any different point in time in your own life path will have different ignition things. Now, for me, Colin's death was a huge flashpoint.
I can imagine.
And moving and sitting there thinking, what is my greatest fear? And it was a written word.
Wow. And instead of avoiding it,
I thought,
jump
come
straight
on,
in.
Just tell a story, do what you do, and it's you speaking. So anybody who reads it, who knows me, said, I can hear you. I know when you're being humorous. What I didn't like was handing it over to a recording, because then you don't know people's reaction. I mean, we're interacting here. It's lovely. So thank you very much again for the opportunity to talk about life's choices.
Yeah, let's hold it up to the camera. There we go.
And,
Zoom in.
it's ready to jump or waiting to be pushed.
Ready to jump or waiting to be pushed.
Come on, sunshines, life's going to get you one way or the other.
Wow. Does this have your stories in as well? Some of your...
It's basically...
It's basically your story.
Just looking at the... I love the analogy of fire because there's one story that really got to me, and it was about a forest fire, and everything was destroyed. The whole woodland was just blackened. And there's a fact that certain seeds lay buried, and I think this is the same in humans.
Yes.
And it takes intense heat for that to germinate.
Yeah.
So when you're in deep sorrow or deep trouble or deep ecstasy, whatever it might be, things germinate.
Wow, it's true, so true. And I always find nature is a wonderful way to teach us about ourselves and about life. I use nature for business growth talks and, for understanding my children and for understanding myself. And sometimes we want to avoid that intense heat, don't we? We want to avoid...
Yeah,
but
it's painful.
It's painful, yeah.
And who in their right mind knowingly walks into a furnace?
No.
But at the end of the day, life doesn't give you options sometimes.
So before we move on to your exciting now and future, what life lessons, maybe one or two little lessons from the first part of your life, maybe from your corporate career, being a woman who's navigating those 30s where you discovered yourself and went from Bill to Christine, any part of that season of your life, do you have any life lessons or top tips that you could share with us?
I think it's individual timing, that moment of who the hell am I? Who am I really underneath this veneer and facade of being, a good wife, a good mother, a good friend. And I think we accommodate a lot other people's expectations of us. And suddenly if you stand up and say, but I don't like doing that, and I don't actually want to be near that person because I find I call them energy vampires. Have you come across them?
Yes.
How would you describe an energy vampire then?
I don't know. All I can say is when I spend time, some people fill me and some people drain me.
Yeah.
And some people are just like, even in podcast situations, I'm doing a podcast, I'm just like, I don't want it to end. And other people, I'm like, that minute went very slowly. Now what do I say to make it more interesting? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I can tell that we are going to go over time easily, so I'm going to just...
keep me under control.
But yeah, so what's your advice around dealing with energy vampires?
I think at the end of the day, know yourself.
Yes.
You've really got to know what your true core values are and stick to them. So don't be swayed. That's all I'm saying, is honour yourself. You are where you are through your experiences.
That's true.
And there's more to come. It's how you ride the waves and the dippy bits.
I think many of us have that moment in our life's journey where we realize we're not being our true self. And for some it can come early, and some it can come, in your 60s or your 70s. What I would say, and I'm wondering if you would agree, is try and force that. Try and get, as soon as you, even if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, oh, I've never really gone down that path, go down that path intentionally rather than wait for it to happen to you. Because once you discover yourself, it's pivotal, isn't it? It can change everything. And it can set you free, because I believe life comes from the inside out. It's who you are. And so, I don't know, I just wanted to throw that in there. But I think anybody listening to our conversation today, if you've never had that moment where you've realized that you're playing a role, try and go down that journey intentionally.
Well, that was 36 looking in the mirror and thinking, who the hell is Christine Marsh? I haven't got a clue.
Yeah. You had that moment at 36. My daughter's having it at 16. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Somebody who's maybe 65, 70 might be listening to this and has never had it.
Yeah.
And they haven't even started living yet. So I would say to anybody, no matter what age, go down that journey intentionally.
Well, I think getting this modelling contract, I can't believe that I'm going to be the mature face.
Tell us about this.
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name of who they are.
Okay, there's this big brand that you all know. Okay, you all know this brand. It is one of the biggest brands. Okay, we won't say the name.
Yeah, 10% increase they've just done on their profits, and I love how they look after their staff, and they've decided I will be the mature face of their brand.
That's incredible. You've got to tell us how you got that. How did that come about?
Do you know, I've stopped asking that question.
You don't even know.
It was just somebody, I came to this blank sheet of paper, don't question anything, just go with the flow. If something comes in, it comes in, and it's been really, really exciting. My big dream is to go to the Galapagos Islands. So that's booked for my 86th birthday.
86,
yeah,
wow.
I want to do something that pushes the limits. We're tough birds, come on. At the end of the day, we don't give ourselves credit for the multitude of skills that we have to develop. So this M times X equals P is your motivation level fluctuates. Right. Your skill level you build. And if my motivation is 8, my skills are 2, my performance will be 16%.
So if you have low motivation and high skill, you'll have a high score. Skill, it's obvious how you get it. How do you get more motivation?
Well, this is what is demotivating you. I asked a very simple question with the sales team, and I said, what would motivate you to come in and enjoy your job more or whatever? Because their sales manager didn't believe in headphones.
Okay.
And some people just couldn't cope with the
The
noise around them.
Yes.
So that was who wanted them should have them. You don't have to make it a mandatory thing of what you're actually doing. And it was looking at one lady wanted, do you remember that advert with this very voluptuous woman with push-up bra?
No.
And bulging bits hanging over them.
No, but I can see it.
Well, every time you went by on the bus, you looked at your flat chest and thought, flipping heck, that's a bit something. So you use cotton wool and padding and all sorts. No, I'm giving my secrets away, stop it. But the key thing is this expectation. Just get over it. Just get over it and just be comfortable in your own skin. If you try to please others at the cost of yourself, only you lose.
Yes. Wow, that's really good. Don't try to please others at the cost of yourself. Yeah. I mean, there's so many gems that you've given us today. I mean, I'm going to go home and re-listen to it and take notes for myself, and I'm sure others will do the same. The thing I wanted to touch on as we come into land is just that blank sheet that you've mentioned a few times. Sometimes life gives it to us. it's out of our control.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to make space. We need to clear away our life to create a blank sheet for whatever reasons. For whatever reason we get to that blank sheet, what do we do when we get there?
I think you go to a very simple question. What is of value to you? What are your core values, really, that is an essence of who you are? And friendship, truth, honesty. You know, we say these words very glibly, but we don't always practice it. So I think it's really looking at who you are, not being frightened of that person, and being able to have a dream at the end of the day. What do you want to do? Well, I wanted to write a book. That was my biggest fear, was the written word. I mean, that was terrifying for me. And then I thought, no, it's a spoken word in squiggles.
I love that. And that helped you.
That helped me. I'm just doing the squiggly bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes it sound so much more fun.
Yeah, spoken word and lots of visuals, because I see everything visually. But you've got different strengths, haven't you? But working with car manufacturers, engineers, that was a challenge, basically, because they already have their mind made up. I've got huge respect. I seem to be drawn to working a lot with males as this sort of go-between, if you like, of being comfortable. We talk about emotions and things like that. So opening that up. And it's getting really this acceptance that we all have fear. Yes. And we're programmed for survival. So the kick-in comes. The other recipe that I use is ROI. Plus ROE. Do you know what that stands for?
No, do tell.
ROI is where most companies go, is return on investment.
Yeah.
Everything is measurable. Tick box, tick box, tick box.
Yep. Metrics.
And that is whether we're successful or not. How much do you earn? What are you doing? You know, what car are you driving? We've got a lot of external reinforcement of whether we're value or not. I mean, that's clever marketing, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It is.
But ROE is return on my energy.
Okay.
And the energy will fluctuate.
Yeah.
So I may have a high knowledge, but if you have demotivated me, and I went to one company and they'd been taken over by a French company, and totally different ways of working, very demoralized people. Majority were male. And we were looking at, how do you come in and be motivated? You know, is it something that you can... This one guy said, I come in, I go home having had an absolute pig of a day, and take it out on the dog, kick the dog, kiss the wife, or the other way round. Kiss the dog and kick the wife. No. Vent. This is often what happens. We take home the frustration of where we've worked, which isn't fair.
No.
But I think many people can relate to that. And he had come in this day, and he said, I went home last night. My wife said, what's the matter with you? So I told her, and she listened to me blaring on about how dreadful it'd been. And I went in the next morning, and I decided to smile. And everyone said, what's the matter with you? Don't you realise how dreadful it is? They're changing this, they're doing that. You know, how can you be motivated? And he said, at the end of the day, it was a return on my energy. But people will vampire off you. So it's really getting that right. But what we did a flow chart, above the line and below the line, and each person came up with a different coloured pen. We did it in small groups. And where's your point of entry? Is it above the line? Do you maintain that level of motivation? What drops you down below the line? What's happened? How do you pick yourself? Or do you suffer that all day and go home and say, kick the dog and kiss the wife or whatever? So when you overlaid that team of maybe 6 on a flip chart, the variations of when I meet you, Angela, how motivated are you today to interview me? How motivated was I to come and have a chat, basically? So they're not compatible. We're not plug-in, beam me up Scotty people. We're human beings with these mood and energy variations. Yeah. So return on investment, you have to have return on energy.
Yeah, that's really good. I wonder if that man who went in and smiled that morning didn't change the energy of the whole place.
No.
No?
No, this is where... Sorry, I'm coming very strongly on that.
No, I'm curious.
I think if you go in as the saviour and the champion, you get beaten down
Really? That's terrible.
No, you cannot lift somebody who's in the doldrums.
You just got to take care of yourself then.
Yeah, you take care of yourself and you get on with it. Things will happen or not. I think this feeling, and I think, again, is very common to think I'm responsible for your happiness.
Yeah, I heard that first with Michelle Obama. She said that in her marriage, in the context of her marriage to Barack, she said one of the keys for their marriage is that he's not responsible for her happiness.
Right.
She takes responsibility for her own happiness. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, that could save so many marriages. You know, we always try, and it's good to try and make each other happy, of course, you know, but at the end of the day, we take responsibility for our happiness. We take responsibility for our energy. I think it's powerful. You know, it could save companies, it could save marriages, it could, you know, it could make such a difference.
But
and
you've got to bring it into the framework of being able to talk about it. And that's a risk.
Yes.
It is a risk if you open up and are honest.
Yeah.
So my job as a facilitator is not to be in any corner or camp.
Just to draw people out.
I provide a safe environment where people can explore each other's situations and views of it and come up with a common way. What's it, 2 × 2 = 4, or there's another equation where you put something else in and it multiplies even more. So, no, it fascinates me, and there's nothing more satisfying to have a client that comes back to me after 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, and we're still friends.
Yeah.
So you go on,
and you can see their progress.
Yeah, you go onto LinkedIn, and I look at some of the lovely people that are still following me and think, I remember when you were a little sprog.
So are you still working in corporate as a facilitator now? Really?
Yes.
So you don't believe in retirement?
I don't know what it means.
I think retirement means when you get old and boring. I don't think you could do that, even if you tried.
No.
No.
Life's for living, Angela. Come on. As long as I've got breath, I shall be breathing.
Yes.
I'm not going to have this sort of comfortable. I don't want comfort. I want challenges. That's
adventure.
why.
I think you're just adventurous.
Yeah, I'm just adventurous.
You
so
are.
The Galapagos is going to be a big adventure for me.
Amazing.
But, you know, I did 3 things after Colin died. I went round northern India. I did right through. I wanted to go to Monte Carlo. The biggest challenge was where you sat in Monte Carlo. I don't know if you've ever seen the seating arrangements, but they're vertical.
Ooh.
And you can't put a whole foot on it. You go up sideways like a crab, and there's nothing to hang on to. That was scary.
I wouldn't cope with that.
That really was pushing the limits. But I looked round and I thought, there ain't not many old biddies sat up here, are there?
No. There wouldn't be me either.
But I've ticked that off.
Amazing.
And as I say, the book writing and stuff. So what's next? Podcasts? I don't know.
Well, here you are.
There you go.
There we go. For many podcasts to come for you, it seems. Well. Christine, we are definitely out of time, even though I want to ask you so many more questions. And I'm sure our listeners and our watchers, our viewers would also love to know more. So where can we find you? Where can we follow the adventures of Christine?
Well, my website and my blog, basically.
So what is your website?
The website is www.thechristinemarsh, there's only one of me, .com.
Okay, thechristinemarsh.com. So we'll keep watching and marveling at all the many things still to come.
Good.
And we'll look out on the billboards and wherever your mature model face will be. Can't wait to tell people the brand when it's allowed to be revealed.
Yeah. Okay.
And I wish you every success with all future dreams and adventures and plans that you have.
Yeah, but Angela, you've been an integral part for making people's dreams come true. You've provided
thank you.
A tapestry that we filled in, but you've always had the vision. And what you're doing on the 3rd of December, I think, is lunatic, and yet you did it. And it's happening.
I'm still nervous. I've been working on it since January, but yes, the awards are going to be the Oscars.
Yeah.
You know, it is fully global, which I was so excited about.
Oh, brilliant.
Someone once told me, don't use the word global. You're not a fully global brand. And I was like, I took that as a challenge. A bit of a rebuke, but a challenge. I'm like, no, I'm going to show you. And so these awards for me is kind of like, nope, we've almost covered the whole map pink. We've still got a few more countries to go. Yeah. But by December, we are going to have representatives from every country in the world on our global stage. And then a few of us who are local are going to come together. Saying that, I've got women women flying in. I've got one of our members flying in from New York, people
Great.
flying in from South Africa. So people are flying in for this event as well. But I'm still nervous, but
It'll work.
It's going to be
your vision. If you got this far, for goodness sake,
Yeah.
it's just the dots and crossing T's and all
So
that
I'm
kind
looking
of thing.
forward to celebrating there with you. We're going to get all dressed up,
Yes.
and
Oh, now this could be an excuse for, do I hire something glamorous or do I buy it?
do whatever you want to do.
Anyway, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's been lovely to chat with you.